So, good morning everybody. Welcome. Great, never seen this. So, good morning everybody. Welcome here at our little talk theater, so to speak. It's Sunday, it's 10 o'clock and you are not in church. We will have to talk about that later. Naughty. But maybe you are actually at the church that matters, the Church of Cinema and Cinematic Thought. So, how did this come to pass? So, Saeed Nouri has been really an old friend of the festival. We screened several of his films here. And so the new film arrived. And I thought, well, once again, awesome. And maybe, just maybe, we should use this for a little something more. So, one of the main points of Cinema Regained is that we usually try to show, when we have a documentary on a subject, also something that goes with the subject. And we have that here also. We have a film that's screening tomorrow after the premiere of his film. Don't miss this, because you will probably never get to see this one again in that state. And I thought, there's more to this. Let's go actually for a presentation, because we are here at a subject that is probably as little known as possible. I mean, there's very little screened from the period before 1979. And it's actually difficult to screen this because it's, for the current government, touchy material. It's complicated. It's from a different period and a different mindset. We know how this goes. So, the main stuff that you get to see from the pre-79 period is usually the new Iranian cinema stuff. But there is a certain perversion for me that we start to look into a cinema at a moment where it's turning. So we basically look at the twist, but we don't know what it's twisting away from. Because the classical Iranian cinema is something that you barely ever get to see. I mean, if you are on YouTube, you can find really terrible versions of it without subtitles. But even then, if you get a glimpse at this, you sense that there is an enormous treasure there. This is really a huge world of cinematic genius that seems to be completely outside of our reach. And it's a cinematic genius that had been introduced to the rest of the world before. I mean, one director whom quotes extensively in his film, Samuel Hojikian, had films screened, for example, at the Berlin Film Festival. So there was a knowledge, there was a little sense of a presence of Iranian cinema already in the 50s, 60s. And I think it's important to really reconnect with that. It's important to understand where all this comes from that we admire so much in contemporary Iranian cinema. And so we thought, why not basically offer a crash course? The whole first 50 years in 40 minutes, or something like this. And this is what we are going to do now. Saeed prepared a wonderful presentation with lots of clips. You are going to see the 7 wonders of the world in 20 minutes, so to speak, and lots of background information, and occasionally I might also say something, but only occasionally.
At the epoch of Qajar in 1900, they have been in France and participated in a projection, and the Mozaffareddin Shah ordered to buy 2 cameras to come to Iran. So Iran, after Japan and India, was the 3rd country who had the camera inside the country. So, but in the way when we were coming back to Iran, they were on Ostend, there was, in Belgium, it was a flower festival, so they participated, and the first reel of Iranian cinema with the first Iranian DOP, Ibrahim Khan Akasbashi, who had his license from Paris to photograph. The first reel has been registered, and you will see this. It's on Tuesday, 14 August 1900. You will see at the right part, descending from the stairs, it's the Iranian equipe with Mozaffaruddin Shah among them. So Mozaffaruddin Shah has written the details of this day on his memoirs, his memories. So he has been not only the first film director in Iranian film history, but the first critic who has written the review for Iranian film history. So he explains what happened in this day in details. He has been very conscious about the presence of the camera. He's him, you know, he comes back to see himself, you know, he looks at the camera as a mirror, you know. They are outside Iran now, you know, with his friends and the people who accompanied him. And here you will see that he comes out of the carriage and he tries to adjust himself to the shot, to the frame. So you will see here. And this particularity stayed in Iranian cinema, in comedy, and this is a comedy that you will see how they break the fourth wall and talk to the audience.
مگه نشنیدید که میگن وقت از آدمی چو برگردد شب اول عروس نرگردد. مگه نگفتم صبر کن. انصافم خوب چیزی. شما دیدید چه پدری از من در آوردن؟ آخرشم به همشون یکی یکی رسید به جز من. مگه من چه عیبی دارم؟ والا من آدم بدی نیستم. ببینم تو شما کسی هست که حاضر باشه با من به محضر بیاد؟
So they fix him, you know, and they say 100% the end. And it, you know, and 20 years after, you will see a forced marriage. And the girl who does not agree to this marriage, she stares at the camera at the end of this shot, and the sound goes by to the next scene, but the camera lingers on. Look at her, her despair. This is Gugush, the most important pop singer of Iranian contemporary history.
اقلا در واکن بیام تو باهات حرف بزنم. کاریت ندارم. من که بهت قول دادم. این بچه بازی‌ها رو در نیار، بیا اقلا تو تخت خوابت بخواب.
So we will pass to the third clip, and you will see when how during the Qajar era they tried to film the bazaar. You know, people do not distinguish between the sidewalk and the street. They are all in the street, and you see the mules, and there are some ones at the bottom of the frame looking at the camera, but the camera it's on a roof. It does not come to this street, you know, at the level of people. It holds the distance. And in the next shot, you will see a remake of this era 60 years after from a filmmaker named Mohsen Badi, who was really expert, and DOP. So many filmmakers in Iranian cinema have been the DOPs. This is the remake of that era, and now you see the camera and the breakup of the shots, you know, how bazaar, the same bazaar that you saw 60 years ago, works here. You will see the jobs and the deals between people.
خربزات کن بزنیست یه دونه شیرینشو به من بده. دست در نکنه. بگیر بکش. گریب 15 ایشه.
زری درشه بده. این تخم مرغا رو چند میدی پسر؟ 10 تا 1 پول. چه خبره؟ مگه تخم طلاست؟
Farrokh Ghaffari, as a genius film director in Iranian cinema, looked at the miniatures and the paintings of the era and made a movie in color. So he framed his shots, you know, as if it has been a canvas frame. So and he used the popular, sexy, and provoking and sensual poets of the time to reinvent a joyful scene. So the next clip that you will see is a wedding scene. When sound came to Iranian cinema in the beginning years, they tried to imagine sound as a part of the drum. So the drama. So you will see the next scene is from a classic, adapted from a classic poetry and named Layli and Majnun, based on Nezami's classic love story. So when the two lovers are separated and the girl is going to another city, the sound of horse hooves becomes and transforms to the name of the lover, which is named Qais. Again, Farrokh Ghaffari, who is for me the most creative film director of all times in Iran, who had studied filmmaking in Cinémathèque Française, and he was the assistant of Henri Langlois for 7 years. He was the founder of the Iranian National Film Archive, and when he came back to Iran, his first feature was at Cannes Film Festival, and it was the first Iranian feature at Cannes Film Festival in 1964 in the Semaine de la Critique. So you will see off-screen space sounds. There are some mankans as if each phrase, each sentence, it's a mankan that's trying, you know, to talk. And after that, you will see how a sound transforms to another sound.
Oh, انگاری صدای اومد. نه، لابد صدای مهمونیه. چقدر کوچه شلوغه. وقت خوش کردن. کی گفت امشب مهمونی کنن؟ تا نیم ساعت دیگه ارباب میاد. پس برم ریشمو بتراشم. دیر میشه. آره، ریشمو بتراشم. شما این قشنگتره. دیگه وقت زیادی تا حرکت هواپیما نمونده. آره جونی، حرکت هواپیما برای اروپا. میفهمی؟ اروپا هواپیما.
You see the wish of the Iranian people at the early 60s. This is Air France.
I mean, this is one of the few films from that period that is actually quite easy to see by now. Also because Ghaffari was kind of really the pathbreaker for Iranian new cinema. I mean, he's the original, so to speak, new Iranian auteur.
Now we come to a decade after, and you will see how a popular filmmaker uses the sound as if he lives here now in these days. He uses the sound as a dub smash, which was not available at that time. And now in social medias we see so many dub smashes. But to entertain, he invited people who are at his house. A mute man tries to impersonate the most important singers of the time.
दिल हो गिरफ्तार एक जन एक सफरम हिच कujha rahi na doram oshde aas se theeram dokari shabut safaram kisi na kuch amate bollo chinchu chilo bulande bollo kisi na kuch amate bollo chinchu chilo bulande bollo
Fortunately, Iranian producers didn't have enough money to make studios, so they were obliged to take the camera and come to the city with their actors. So you will see the architecture of the city, and at the same time, people of the era. So a documentary aspect entered Iranian cinema from the beginning because of the lack of money, and they tried to use the real locations. The camera movement that you are about to see is from the central bazaar of Tehran, who is intact, and you can see it in its original form today too, but the people do not dress like they dressed in the 1950s. So let's go. You see the people, the vendors, and discover. This is the only shot, a long take shot. And at the end of the shot, you will see two people who try to sell teas with the samovar and the teapot. But in fiction, there were camera movements that were amazing. And you will see how, without having enough equipments, how they tried to fly with the camera. So they took a construction crane and fixed some wood on them and put the DOP, in a risk to have a real camera movement. There is a photo in between a shot. I have juxtaposed the photo of the scene that shows how this shot has been taken. And you will see Ahmad Shirazi, the DOP, who has proposed for a Polar movie, for a chase scene, how to invent a camera movement that could be, at the size of the world cinema of the time. This is, the crane and the shot that has been taken. And look how he takes the risk to go so high. So,
And what makes it very effective is how he actually gets out of it, out of this wonderful movement up, and then goes down, gives it a lot of elegance. I think basically really the thought that it's not only the daring do of this movement, but then in the film really the thoughtfulness of how to get in and out of that movement.
Exactly. As you know, Iran has been a religious country, and convincing the clergyman was not easy to let people make movies. So the first movie that they made was in praise of cinema, to show how cinema could be educative and be useful for ethics. So the scene that you will see is about a man whose daughter wants to be an actress. They film himself and show it in cinema, and after that he sees that it can be entertaining and at the same time educative. So you will see the first scene, that how a father opposes her daughter to become an actress. It's silent, this movie. So the first fiction that has been made in Iran has been a film about film. In 1960s, 30 years after, something astonishing had happened. The commercial success of Iranian cinema allowed the studio owners to broaden and expand their possibilities, and in the example that you will see from a movie that is named The Devoted Mother, the project, the production process is discussed, and at the same time you will see that there are 3 different stages of shooting. The important point of this scene is that when they arrive beside the camera, it is cut and we see what it's going to be shot. But the movie that is shown after has been shot 5 years earlier. So this is the first movie, Iranian fiction film, that in which you see the archive material. And how did I know that? Because nowhere has been registered. When I saw the movie, I saw, wow, the movie belongs to 1963, and there are 2 actors in these scenes that have been dead 3 years before. And how was it possible? So I searched for the movies that 4 or 5 actors by searching the net, and I found the movie that was shot 5 years ago in the same studio. So you will see the New Age studio. They discuss the production process in Iranian cinema, and I have put some notes that you will see from which film in the next shot we go 5 years or 6 years before, and we go back.
مدیر داخلی استودیو یکی از هنرپیشگان خوب ما هستن.
متشکرم، مرسی.
هر فیلم چقدر طول میکشه تا آماده نمایش بشه؟
حداقل 5-6 ماه، حد اکثر 1 سال.
چقدر زیاد؟
پس خیال میکردیم فیلم 2-3 روزه تموم میشه.
بله، تمام این تشکیلات و عده زیادی کارگر و هنر 1 سال شبانه روز زحمت میکشن و کار میکنن تا یه فیلم درست بشه. اون وقت شما 2 ساعت تو سینما میشینید اونو تماشا میکنید.
واقعا مشکله. حقیقتا زحمت داره.
خواهش میکنم تشکیلات استودیو رو از نزدیک به دوستان ما نشون بدیم.
بسیار خوب. تشریف بیاره تو پلاتو تا یه صحنه از فیلمی رو که الان مشغول فیلم برداری هستن ببینید.
معذرت میخوام. ببخشید معذرت میخوام.
در حال حاضر 3 دسته هنرپیشه و کارگردان و فیلمبردار مشغول کار است.
پس از این قرار این استودیو مجهز و مرتبه.
بله بله، بفرمایید، خواهش میکنم.
یه خود جلوتر بیاریم بر.
دیوانگی با مستی امشب می جوشد ساقی باشد.
This is Asghar Tafakuri, who was dead 3 years before. They are filming a wedding. And this is Mahvash, the singer who was dead in a car accident at the age of 32. And we come back.
خب با اجازهتون دیگه زحمت کم میکنیم. از محبت و پذیرایی گرم و صمیمانه شما بی نهایت ممنون.
خواهش میکنم. بنده هم از آشنایی با شما خیلی خیلی خوشبخت شدم.
مرحمت شما زیاد.
خداحافظ شما. میخواستم حضورتون پیشنهاد کنم اگه مایل باشین اجازه بفرمایین که خانمتون افتخار همکاری خودشونو به ما بدن.
خانم بنده؟
بله.
چه؟
خانم شما تیپ بسیار خوبی برای سینما دارن. اگه موافق باشیم ما به عنوان هنرپیشه از ایشون استفاده کنیم.
اجازه بفرمایید روی این موضوع کمی مطالعه کنم. جوابشو توسط عباس آقا بهتون.
مانعی نداره.
In Metacinema, we have movies that show how when you go to the movies and try to work in the cinema, how you are far from your family and your personal life is interrupted, and how fame can make so many harms to your character. So the next one is the role of Tufan, the role of Storm by Samuel Khachikian, that you will see not only the process of filmmaking, but the critique of the star system and fame.
دومین فیلم طوفان، یک شاهکار بزرگ. من اونو به خونش برمیگردونم، من اونو پیش بچهش برمیگردونم. طوفان به زنش علاقه زیادی دارد. چه غلطا!
بدش من، تو حق نداری اون روزنامه رو پاره کنی.
متشکرم عزیزم.
تو نمیتونی این کارو بکنی، تو نمیتونی از پیش من بری.
قط عالی بود طوفان، یکی از بهترین بازیات بود. فقط موقعی که این جمله رو میگی سعی کن چشمات بیشتر نفرت نشون بده. یه دفعه دیگه هم میگیریم.
نور روشن کن اون یکی. متشکرم.
حاضر باشید. موتور حرکت.
تو نمیتونی این کارو بکنی، نمیتونی از پیش من بری.
قط نشد. نه خوشم نیومد طوفان، حالتت خیلی ضعیفه. از نو میگیری؟
حرف به زور میزنه. نمیتونم، من تا شعله جلوم نباشه نمیتونم بازی کنم.
آره نمیتونه بازی
وجود اون
کنه.
پسر بلند قده خیلی ناراحتش کرد.
یادم
طوفان دیگه
شعله.
تو نه اینطور نیست. خانم اگه فکر میکنه منو خریده اشتباه میکنه. سرمایه گذار هست برای خودشه، ولی به عنوان یه هنرپیشه باید سر کارش حاضر بشه. یعنی چه پلانا رو جدا جدا میگیریم بعد با هم مونتاژ میکنیم؟ یعنی چه؟
as you like so much Gorgi Ebadia, you know, I will show you a part of Gorgi Ebadia's film directing in 1953. You will see how editing can make the movie the scene that you will see, it's about a rape, but the film director does not show it directly and tries to put 3 or 4 parallel scenes in contact, in interaction with each other to indoctrinate the rape, not to show it. And you will discover, I let you discover at the end, when the girl loses her virginity, something happens, you will see. And the director has thought about, this is Gorgi Ebadia, the director himself, the man, the raper is himself. Winds among the trees. A sound takes us back. Shadows, resistance. Music. Candles. And it's finished. It's broken. This was something.
By all means. I should say this is a director we talked a lot about before, and this is one case where we ran a little bit out of luck here, because there is right now an Israeli production in the making on the history of Gorgi Ebadia. So you might wonder, why an Israeli production? So Ebadia was actually an Iraqi Jew who came to Iran, became a filmmaker there, and then I think in 1968 emigrated to Israel, where he became one of the most successful directors of Israeli cinema. He's one of the really big stars of popular comedies in the 70s. So he has had really 2 lives, and in both lives he was really a pathbreaker. You could say in artistic terms, definitely more important in Iran. In commercial terms, probably more important in Israel. I hope we will next year basically have that film here. And I can assure you, I mean, both of us are very much in agreement. This is a director worth very, very much discovering. I mean, this guy was something.
Exactly. The movie that he's made, this movie, Helpless, has been copied during 25 years in each Iranian other movie, because it's about a girl who has been raped, flees from her village, comes to Tehran, becomes singer, works in a cabaret, and her son becomes a thief, and at the end there is a tribunal, and you know, after that the family finds, you know, its members. So these 6 or 7 steps of drama has been repeated during 25 years in public cinema in Iranian film Farsi, you know, let's say. And you know, at the same time, there was another point of view in film directing in Iranian cinema. The clip that you are about to see is from a movie of the same year, 1953. But this time, Moaz Divan Fekri, the film director, tries not to cut and to use long take and some tracking shots to deepen the emotions of a shepherd girl and the father of the boy that he loves.
راستش اینه که من و احمد همدیگه رو مخواهیم.
دختر تو هیچ فکر کردی که یه دختر چپون نمتونه عروس کت خدا بگده؟ از اینا گذشته. احمد نومزد داره.
دروغ میگی. احمد من تا امروز صبح نومزد نداشت.
نومزد نداشت؟ حالا نومزد پیدا کرده. کار ما رو به این که دختر چپون هم واسه ما اختیاردار شده.
حق با شما. دختر فقیری مثل من نباید پاش از گلیم خودش درد. اما چیکار بکنم؟ دلم پیش احمده.
این حرفا زیادیه. باید دست از احمد بکشی بری و الا فردا میرم با رسوایی از ده بیرونت بکنم.
بزن، بکش، بیرونم بکن. تا به اختیاری. اما اختیار دلم که دست خودمه.
این اگه هم حرفای احمد میزنه. گوش کن زیبا، من نمیخواستم اینو به تو بگم. حالا که کار به اینجا کشید یه مطلبی رو که هیچ کس نمدونه به تو میگم. من به حاجی بده کارم، اونم میخواد اجرایه صادر بکنه. با این عروسی خیال همه آسوده میشه. من میدونم که تو راضی نمیشی آبروی یک خانواده‌ای بریزه.
The last clip that you will see, maybe you ask editing and long takes have been in the Western cinema too, so that shows how Iranian film directors have been updated, you know, in their era. But for finishing this session, I will show you a pure Persian poetry in film directing. You know, the movie, The Unique Champion, is a movie of 1970s, but it's about the Persian poetry. In Persian poetry, lovers rarely speak directly to each other. Instead, they communicate indirectly, often through metaphors or a third person, avoiding overt expressions of emotion. The beloved understands the lover's feelings through symbolic language, layered with meanings. In this scene, you will see the lovers that communicate in a way that evokes Plato's world of ideals. It's an image of an image. Why? Because you don't see them directly. You see the image, their image in the water and not in order. It's exactly, you know, what Iranian poetry represents. And by seeing it, you will know how imaginative is their world.
شوخی نداریم با مال طرفه. تو همینجا باش کردم چشمتو درویش کنیم.
ایوالا شمایی صدای پاتونو نشنیدم.
آره در باز بود. خیال کم کسی خونه نیست. گفتم شاید خدای نکرده دزد اومده باشه.
خب چطور شد از این طرفا؟
هیچی رد می شدم گفتم یه سری بزنم.
پس رد می شدی و الا که از ما حالی نمی پرسی. راستی من امروز میام شهر.
میخواین منم باتون بیام شهر؟
نه من بعد از نهار میام شهر. اگه شما از رفتین شهر به پهلوون یه جوری به پهلوون بگین که من بعد از نهار میام شهر. البته اگه مزاحمتی براتون نیست.
این چه حرفیه؟ چه زحمتی؟
آخه شما خیلی کار سرگرمی دارین دیگه وقت ندارین پیغام ما رو به پهلوون برسونین.
تو رو خدا بس کن دیگه. خودت میدونی که پهلوون یه ماست منو از زورخونه اخراج کرده بود و من حق نداشتم تو این یه ماه حتی خونه شما بیام. امروزم اولین روزیه که دارم بعد از یه ماه میرم زورخونه. تو که خودت همه چیز میدونی.
چی رو میدونم؟
همه چی رو. آخه من چطوری بهت بگم؟
به قاصدک بگو.
ای قاصدک، به این دختر بگو که چرا اومدم اینجا. من که نمیتونم بگم.
قاصدک به این پهلوون بگو چرا نمیتونی؟
قاصدک چی بهش بگم که دلش راضی بشه؟
قاصدک اون چیه که تو دلشه و به زبونش نمیاری؟
قاصدک بهش بگو که نمیتونم به زبون بیارم.
خب نمیگی؟ باشه آقا فتو.
بهش بگو که دقیقه برام ساله. بهش بگو که طاقتم طاقه. بهش بگو که مهرش همه دلمو گرفته. بهش بگو که ما خیلی رو خاک کردیم ولی خاک پاشیم.
قاصدک یه چیز بگم بهش میگی؟ بهت بگه بهم بگی؟
آره بگو. بهش میگم بهم بگه بهت بگم.
دیدیش بهش گفتی؟ بهت گفت بهم بگی؟
آره دیدم بهش گفتم. بهم گفت بهت بگم چیزه.
دوست دارم.
خب دیگه من میرم. خدا
That's it.
So this was a wonderful crash course in things. But there's one thing I was wondering a little bit about. I sound like Columbo. One thing I find really interesting about pre-revolutionary Iranian cinema is that it was also quite international. It was really very much, I mean, Iran was very welcoming to talents from other countries. I mean, already said Obadian, there was Iraqi actually. We have Indians in Iranian cinema. Can you talk a little bit about that, about this, let's say, why was Iran so, let's say, welcoming? Because let's face it, you were mentioning Iran, India, and Japan was definitely not as welcoming to foreign talents, for example. And India was the country that was sending out the talents, not receiving them.
You know, Iran is a very welcoming country because it consists of so many different languages, and it has, like Germany, a mosaic culture. So it's very welcoming, and at that time they were searching for those who were experts, you know, in cinema. We had more than 500 movie theaters, 570 movie theaters, and 110 showed Iranian movies. So if they did not have enough Iranian movie to show, the foreign films could take the movie theaters and they would not be back to Iranian cinema. So the lack of technicians, the lack of movie makers made them let people, you know, the Armenians, the Turkish filmmakers, the Egyptian filmmakers and the Indian filmmakers come and make productions. And sometimes, you know, in the early 60s and during the 70s, we had so many co-productions too, with Turkish cinema, with Egypt cinema, with Indian cinema even. We had this. The finance came from the private yes, companies, yes, private sector. So if they found someone who had talent, who could tell a story, you know, in an Iranian way, they could invest in him, at least on a film, to see if it works or if it doesn't work. So that's why they were so much welcoming. Even now, I think if you come to Iran, you want to make movies, maybe it will not be screened in Iran, but you can shoot in Iran and go and show it elsewhere.
So what would you say is really the greatest achievement or the greatest treasure of classical Iranian cinema? What is really the one thing that really stands out for you?
the love that they have for the cinema itself. You know, when Iranian people saw Iranian movies, you know, let me explain to you something that how it worked, because when we talk about the private sector that invests on the cinema, it means that if your capital is not back, you are broken and you are out of the system. So the Iranian movies has been made with very simple stories for the worker class that search for the cheapest entertaining, you know, habit for a family. A family could get out at Thursday night to go to the cinema, pay 10 tomans, which was about $1.50, you know, for 5 people to go to the family lodge to watch a movie. And this movie, he should see a love story, some songs, because it was entertaining, so they had to listen to the songs too. And after that, they would come out with the family, go to a restaurant, pay 1 tuman to have a warm food and a drink. So with 15 tumans, it means $2. 5 persons could have their entertainment, you know, during a Thursday night, a family. So that's why it functions like this. The spectators wanted something that could not be so complicated and at the same time could be pleasing for them. So the coming back to cinema was a habit for Iranian film goers. And that's why sometimes you see the same character. For example, if a movie was successful with a greedy character, as you can see in a Khachikian movie, The Party in the Hell, you see the same character in other movies, you know, coming into the other movies, and they say, oh, it's the same person, you know, it becomes a part of their family. They were habituated to put the photos of their stars on the wall. Even now, you know, one of my uncles have put Fardin's picture in the salon of his home because the love that they thought that they were so available, you know, too, so they could get in touch with the person himself. So it was not very formal, you know, and an industry. Let's say it was something between, you know, family and industry relation that could take people back to the movie theaters.
So I got already shot with 5 fingers of death 4 minutes ago. So I'm afraid we will basically have to call it a day now. I am absolutely sure that if you have questions to Saeed, we can answer all of them outside, and please all come tomorrow, kind of a double feature. First, his documentary about Tehran in pre-revolutionary cinema, followed by a film that you will never see again. It's your responsibility for your life and your cinephilia. Be there or be damned for the rest of your existence. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much.